Stop bleeding for people who wouldn't flinch if you fell. You're pouring your time, focus, and heart into people who wouldn't even pick you up if you collapsed. And it's killing your spirit, slowly. But this ends now. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to reclaim your mind, protect your energy like a fortress, and finally become untouchable without saying a word. Let's begin. Welcome back, Stoic friends. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and felt like the world was already waiting to crush you before your feet even touched the ground? Your soul already tired. Before a single word is spoken, the day feels like a battle. You lie there staring at the ceiling, frozen. Not because you're weak, but because everything around you feels too loud to fight and too silent to scream back at. Expectations, deadlines, guilt, pressure, fake smiles, heavy silence, and thoughts that don't knock before breaking in. It's like you're trapped in a quiet war, one that doesn't explode. It suffocates. And that's exactly where I was. Not just once, not just on a bad week, but for what felt like a lifetime, until I found something. Not a quote, not a social media affirmation, a weapon. Stoicism didn't land in my life like a soft whisper. It arrived like a blade, sharp, steady, and honest. Not to make me feel better, but to make me take back what I'd been bleeding away for years. My energy. I didn't need a comfort blanket. I needed a battle plan. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not a cute quote. That's a war cry. That's a message from a man who led an empire while battling storms in his mind. He knew exactly what it meant to fight chaos both inside and out, and what he learned is that strength doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from no longer letting the world control you. When you internalize that, you stop feeding energy to things that don't deserve you. You stop handing your peace to people who treat it like garbage. You stop being a slave to noise. Let me make one thing clear. This isn't about pretending life is easy. This is about becoming unshakable in the middle of the fire. About standing when everything around you wants you to fall. About rising, not softly, not spiritually, but with grit, with scars, with both fists clenched. Today is not a lesson. It's a reckoning. This is where you stop leaking. This is where you remember who the hell you are. We're not tiptoeing through 5 life hacks. We're bulldozing through 5 brutal Stoic truths, each one designed to force your energy back into your hands, where it belongs. Because you're not broken, you're not lazy, you're not weak, you're drained, and that ends now. So before we begin, I want you to do something with full intention. Don't tap that like button like it's a reflex. Hit it like you're driving your fist into the earth, like you're drawing a line in the sand and saying, "This is the day I take it back." Your focus, your strength, your self-respect. This isn't motivation, this is war, and you're walking in armed, with Stoicism as your sword. You remember what we said, right? This isn't about feeling better, it's about taking your power back. So let's begin with the first truth. And I mean really begin. Like stepping over the line where your old self stops and the real you starts walking forward. Say it with me. I am the master of my energy. Drop it in the comments like you're carving it into the ground. Say it like you're done leaking. Say it like you're done pretending you're okay when you're falling apart inside. And before we dive in, subscribe. Not because I asked you to, but because what's coming next isn't just content. It's a volcanic jolt to your nervous system. It's a mirror, a challenge, a reset. So now, close your eyes for a second. Breathe. You're standing at the edge. Not of a comfort zone, but of everything that's been holding you back. Behind you, a storm, one that took its shots. Ahead, a path that's wild, raw, unforgiving. But it's yours. You feel it deep in your bones. It's time. Cut off the leaks. Let's get something straight. Energy isn't stolen. It's bled. Your strength doesn't vanish in one dramatic moment. No one kicks in the door and rips it from your chest. It's quieter than that. More dangerous than that. You leak it, bit by bit, day by day, in small, silent moments you barely notice, until one morning you wake up hollow, tired, numb, and you whisper to yourself, "Where did the fire go?" You didn't lose your power. You gave it away, through every micro-compromise, every time you chose peace over self-respect, comfort over clarity, noise over your own damn intuition. You don't collapse from one big punch. You break down from 1,000 ignored instincts. You know what I'm talking about. That message you answered, even though your gut said no. That room you stepped into, even though your chest tightened. That person you clung to, even though everything in you said, let them go. You stayed. You said yes, even as your soul screamed no. You smiled, even as your spine begged to walk away. And that's the cost. You weren't weak. You were self-betraying. To keep a fragile piece that was never real to begin with. And you wonder why you can't breathe. Why your chest feels heavy. Why your soul feels like it's drowning in silence. People don't break you. They wear you down. They drain you. Not with force, but with expectation. They hand you their chaos like it's a gift and ask you to carry it. They never ask how you are. They just keep taking. And you let them. You handed them the blade. You showed them the soft spots. And they smiled while slicing. All in the name of love. All in the name of being a good person. All while your fire dimmed. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment." That's not poetic fluff. That's truth soaked in blood and grit. It means you suffer not because of what happened, but because of the meaning you gave it. You bled because you allowed what wasn't worthy to enter and settle. Your pain? It's not coming from out there. It's coming from what you allowed in here. You're not tired. You're overextended. You're not broken. You're buried under everyone else's noise. And the truth is, your spirit, it isn't lost. It's suffocating beneath all the things you never should have carried. And now, we stop the bleeding. You're not broken. You're just suffocating beneath the weight of everything you said yes to when your gut was screaming no. Your soul didn't vanish. It's drowning, not in chaos you created, but in boundaries you never set. You're leaking, not because you're weak, but because you've left the doors open to people, habits, and noise that should have been locked out a long time ago. So what do? You cut off the access. Clean. ruthless, without apology. Let the doors slam. Let the silence stretch like a blade through the room. Let the absence echo so loud that it becomes deafening. And no, you don't need to explain why you're walking away. You don't owe anyone a closing paragraph or a soft farewell. Just leave. Your silence will be the loudest thing they've ever heard. Because hear this, you are not a well for the ungrateful. You are not a charger for people who keep draining. You are not a crutch for those too lazy to stand on their own. You are fire. You are steel. You are sacred ground, and not everyone deserves the privilege of standing on you. So stop delaying. Stop negotiating. Cut off the leaks. Not gently. Not later. Now. Every drop of energy you waste on the wrong people, that's energy stolen from the man or woman you were meant to become. Your attention is your kingdom. Guard it with teeth. Let's talk about something you probably forgot you own: your attention. In today's world, your attention isn't just focus. It's currency. It's royalty. It is your kingdom. And every time you give it away carelessly, you're handing over a piece of your crown. What you focus on becomes your life. As simple and brutal as that. Think about it. Every time you argue over nonsense, obsess over someone who doesn't, think twice about you, or scroll through noise that doesn't serve your growth, you're giving out rent-free space in your mental palace. You're letting fools squat in your throne room. And guess what? It's not just wasted time. It's stolen purpose. You don't lose your focus in a dramatic collapse. You lose it through tiny fractures. Notification by notification. Drama by drama. Doom scroll by doom scroll. 1 minute, you're thinking about your future. The next, you're pulled into a meaningless online argument between strangers. One moment you're grounded. The next you're a ghost, drifting through everyone else's chaos, disconnected from your own path. You're not broken. You're just being bled dry by distractions you've convinced yourself are normal. Your goals don't disappear. They slip. Quietly, relentlessly, through your fingers like smoke. And you wonder, why am I anxious all the time? Why do I feel exhausted even after resting? Why do my dreams feel further away now than ever? Here's the answer. Your mind is no longer yours. It's been hijacked, not by a supervillain in the shadows, but by your own lack of discipline, by the slow daily poison of scattered focus. Seneca once said, "There is nothing the busy man is less busy with than living." That's not a quote. That's a dagger. That's a wake-up call. You can spend your entire life chasing tasks, replying to notifications, engaging in drama, and still miss the only thing that matters: your life. You are not broken, but you are bleeding. And the wound? It's in your attention. Let's patch it. Let's protect it. And let's reclaim your throne. Living doesn't mean just existing. It means being fully here. Living with intention, breathing deeply into your present, and building your future with unshakable precision. Your mind is your final weapon in this chaotic world. Protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. You don't owe your attention to every ping. Not every notification deserves a glance. Not every trend deserves your opinion. Not every crisis deserves your emotional bandwidth. You don't need to keep up with the noise. You don't need to be reachable 24/7. You don't even need to respond. And the moment you stop trying to keep up, you start catching up with yourself. Pull your focus inward and watch. Watch how the fog clears. What they call missing out, you'll call freedom. What they label cold or rude, you'll call peace. Draw the line, lock the gates. If it doesn't build you, it's breaking you. If it doesn't lift your vision, it's lowering your energy, because everything adds up. Every scroll, every swipe, every glance that leads you astray. It doesn't seem like much, but it's death by 1,000 distractions. One careless click, and you're off track for an hour. One draining conversation with the wrong person, and you're back to questioning your worth. Attention is energy, and energy is everything. Guard it with teeth. Snarl if you must. Rip your attention back like someone's been stealing your soul, because they have. Turn your phone off, without guilt. Leave messages on read, without shame. Let them think what they want, while you build in silence. Your future isn't created by being liked. It's built by being locked in, obsessed, unreachable, unapologetically focused, because, yes, your life does depend on it. They want your attention for a reason. Because attention is currency. Because attention is power. The more of it they hold, the less you have. Every algorithm is designed to keep you chasing. Every platform engineered to keep you scrolling in loops that numb your spirit and burn your hours. But you were not born to be distracted to death. You weren't made to be pacified by pixels. You were built for war, and focus is your sword. Your attention is your kingdom. So the question is, are you the ruthless king guarding the gates, or the servant handing out the keys to anyone who asks? Choose wisely, because what you focus on, you fuel, and what you fuel becomes your fate. Stop explaining yourself. Let's talk about another trap, the one that steals more of your energy than you realize. Explaining yourself. You weren't born to be a public statement. You weren't placed on this earth to walk around like a disclaimer. You're not a press release. You're not a product to be unboxed and picked apart. You're a human being. Your energy, your spirit, and every time you bend, twist, or shrink yourself so someone else gets it, you lose a piece of your power. There comes a moment in your life when you must draw the line in silence and say, I will not justify my fire to those who live in fear of burning. You weren't meant to perform for people who've already made up their mind about you. You weren't meant to defend your heart to those who only want it in pieces. So when you choose peace over performance, let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them create their version of the story. Because here's the truth. You do not exist to babysit someone else's perception of you, and the more energy you pour into defending yourself to those who'll never respect you, the less you have left for the life that's actually meant for you. Your energy leaks. It doesn't burst out. It seeps, subtly, silently, every time you open your mouth to justify yourself. Justify why you backed off, why you didn't reply, why you chose to protect your peace instead of playing along with their chaos. And every word, every reason you give, is a little more power bleeding out. You are not rude. You are not cold. You are not arrogant. You are clear. And clarity terrifies people who depend on confusion to keep control. You don't owe an explanation for how you guard your soul. You don't need to hand over your boundaries like receipts. You don't need to offer your reasons like there's some customer service return policy. Because if your silence bothers them, it's because it echoes louder than any excuse ever could. People who truly respect themselves don't chase validation. They don't beg to be understood. They move, with or without applause. They don't waste time explaining what their soul already knows to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. Let the results speak. Let your peace speak. Let your absence speak. Epictetus said it best with a touch of fire. If someone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. Simply say, "He was ignorant of my other faults. Otherwise, he would not have mentioned only these." That isn't just clever. That is sovereignty. That is owning your power so completely that no insult can find purchase. You don't have to shrink to fit someone else's fragile worldview. You don't have to dilute your truth. To avoid shaking those addicted to lies, let them choke on their assumptions. Let them wrestle with their narratives. You've got empires to build. You've got battles to win. You've got a soul to protect. The more you explain, the more power you give away. The more you argue, the more energy you scatter into battles that were never yours to fight. And the people who demand the most explanation, they're the ones who never plan to believe you anyway. They're not listening. They're just collecting ammo. So stop handing them the bullets. Start walking away. Let your distance be your only answer. Let your absence carve the truth they pretended not to hear. The moment you stop explaining is the moment you start reclaiming. Reclaiming your focus. Reclaiming your peace. Reclaiming your fire. If your presence is questioned, let your absence write the reply in all caps. If your boundaries are challenged, enforce them without flinching. No apology, no hesitation, no debate, just action. Because here's the truth. You are not a debate. You are not a suggestion. You are not a customer service rep for your own spirit. You are not here to break yourself down into bite-sized, digestible pieces, just to make yourself easier for the wrong people to swallow. Let them chew on the silence. Let them sit in the deafening echo of your non-response. Let them wonder why you stopped replying, why you stopped showing up, and let them never get the answer. Because your energy isn't a debate. It's not something you put on trial. It's a declaration. And once you make peace with being misunderstood, you become truly untouchable. Number 4. Master your mornings. This is where your power is forged, not in the spotlight, not in the noise, but in the quiet. In the still invisible space where most people are still asleep, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. The battle for your life doesn't begin when everything goes wrong. It begins the moment you open your eyes. That very first breath before the world starts clawing at your peace. That's the moment that sets the tone for the day. Your morning isn't just a routine. It's the furnace. It's the forge. It's where your mindset is either tempered like steel or shattered like glass. You don't rise with strength by accident. You build it. You train for it. You earn it. And it starts immediately. Because if the first thing your fingers reach for is your phone, you've already lost. You've handed over the wheel before your feet even hit the floor. You let other people's chaos infect your peace before you even say good morning to yourself. Strangers' lives, bad news headlines, mindless scrolls, they now own your mindset. And now you're reacting to the day before you've even chosen who you want to be. You can't lead your life if you start it like a servant. You can't build discipline if the first battle of the day ends in surrender. Your mind was designed for clarity, not chaos. Your mornings are the training ground for the rest of your life. The quiet hours? That's where warriors are built. Not in the gym, not on the stage. In the stillness, when nobody's watching. It's where you breathe deeply, where you face the things you've been avoiding, where you sit with the thoughts that make most people run. Morning is where you plant your flag, where you declare, today I lead. Not my cravings, not my past, not my fear, me. And that one decision made before the world even knows you're awake. That's what separates those who create their day from those who are crushed by it. The Stoics knew this. To them, discipline wasn't just a buzzword. It was armor. It was sacred. Marcus Aurelius rose and reminded himself every morning, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. He didn't say that to feel good. He said it to prepare. Because a man who commands his mornings builds his own weather. Storms don't shake him. People don't rattle him. Why? Because while the world slept, he was sharpening his edge in silence. But if you wake up late, skip your rituals, roll into the world like a man constantly behind the clock, then don't be surprised when life slaps you around like a rag doll. You're not grounded, you're scattered. And scattered men don't lead. They chase, they react, they collapse. You want clarity? Earn it. You want power? Forge it. And it all starts in the morning. Sit in the quiet. Feel the stillness before the storm. Meditate, write, breathe, sweat, move like you mean it. This isn't some feel-good trend or Instagram routine. This is war prep in a world that's engineered to distract, discourage, and dismantle you from the moment you open your eyes. Your morning is sacred ground. It's the last untouched battlefield before the world invades your mind with noise. Guard it like a wolf guards its den, fiercely, unapologetically, without compromise. Carve that time out like your life depends on it, because it does. Build your mind before anyone tries to break it. Move your body before the day tries to pin you down with pressure. Breathe deep before the noise, the emails, the demands start kicking in. This isn't a luxury. This is survival. If you want to lead your life with fire, if you want to carry presence like a sword, your morning isn't optional, it's essential. You don't need a 5-hour optimized routine with 19 supplements and an ice bath. You need something non-negotiable, something raw, something real, something that builds your spine before the world tries to bend it. Wake up early. Wake up with intention. Wake up like a man on a mission, not just to check boxes, but to conquer. Because if you don't command your morning, the world will. And trust me, the world doesn't care about your peace. It wants your attention, your focus, your soul. So rip it back. Snatch it with both hands before the floodgates open. Your energy isn't forged at 10 a.m. in a meeting room. It's forged in that dark, quiet moment. Before breakfast, before headlines, before the world knows you're awake. It's forged in the fight you win before the day begins. Number 5. Stop giving first-class energy to economy people. You're draining yourself dry. running full speed into burnout, not because the mission is too hard, but because you're pouring your best into people who don't even see the value in what you bring. You're handing your brilliance to people who treat it like it's spare change. You show up full of fire for people who are made of ash, and it's killing you quietly. You keep trying to light up dark rooms that were never meant to be warmed. You keep handing out your peace to souls who only know how to poison it. And deep down, you know it. You're not tired because you work too hard. You're tired because you keep giving your gold to people who treat it like rust. You give your clearest thoughts, your best hours, your highest vibration to people who wouldn't cross the street for you if you were drowning. You pour loyalty into people who leave you stranded the moment you need them. You explain yourself to cowards. You beg for decency from the emotionally bankrupt. You're trying to build palaces with people who only ever bring wrecking balls. And it's not just frustrating, it's soul-crushing. So stop. Draw the line. Your soul wasn't built for clearance racks. Your time is not up for auction. Your energy is not a vending machine for every passerby who presses a button. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Do you know what that really means? Let them misunderstand you. Let them roll their eyes. Let them choke on your silence and call it arrogance. Because protecting your peace will always offend those who used to live off your chaos. You keep trying to save the ungrateful, thinking your loyalty will wake them up, but you're not their savior. You're their supply, their emergency hotline, their emotional dumpster dressed in smiles. And it's okay, I understand. Every time you say yes just to avoid conflict, every time you offer warmth to someone who only brings cold, you're saying no to your own peace. You're not helping them. You're enabling your own exhaustion. You're handing them the weapon and bowing your head, and it's time to stop. Burn the bridge, not for revenge, but for rebirth. Walk away. No speech, no drama, no final text. Just clean silence and a locked door. Because some people don't deserve closure. They deserve distance. The kind that echoes so loudly they finally hear what your words never could. You weren't born to water dead plants. You weren't built to be milked dry by the emotionally bankrupt. You were built to build, to rise, to ignite. So start pouring into people who pour back. Start protecting your energy like your very existence depends on it. Because it does. The wrong people won't just waste your time. They'll dismantle your self-worth, derail your focus, and leave you bleeding invisibly in a world that only notices when you collapse. So take a look around, at who you feed, at who you answer messages from at 2 a.m., at who you rearrange your sanity for. Ask yourself this: would they bleed for you the way you've bled for them? Or would they step over your body without even flinching? Your energy is sacred ground. Not everyone should have access, and every time you let the wrong ones in, you're teaching them that your soul is cheap. So stop giving first-class fire to people flying standby in your life. Let them miss the flight. Let the gate close, and never let them board again. If there's one thing you remember from this entire message, let it be this: your energy is your greatest currency, more valuable than time, more powerful than talent, and once you master it, you own everything. But here's the truth: that mastery doesn't come from an app or a planner. It comes from your choices, from what you say yes to, from what you say no to, and most of all, from what you let inside your mind. Cut the noise, cut the leeches, cut the self-sabotage disguised as kindness. Say no more often. Say it with your chest. Say it to anyone or anything that doesn't honor your higher self. Because once your peace is gone, the chaos creeps back in. But when your energy is clean, your mind clears, your vision sharpens, your presence commands, you walk into a room and people feel the shift. Not because they've changed, but because you stopped giving them the mic. You stopped explaining. You stopped bending. You stopped bleeding. And the people who once tried to drain you, now they shrink. Not because they fear you, but because they can't access you. Thanks for watching, Stoic friends. If this video hit something deep, leave a comment and tell me which truth shook you the most. Don't just watch, engage. Let this be your line in the sand. Like this video if you felt the fire. Subscribe if you're building an inner fortress. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We're not just consuming content here. We're building a movement of warriors who protect their peace, focus their minds, and reclaim their energy. And remember, your energy is not cheap. Stop giving out discounts. Until next time, stay grounded, stay powerful, stay stoic.